Hello, this is Truman, and welcome again to a great verse for today. The last video we shared the incredible story of the song Jehovah Jireh, the God who sees and provides. Our great verse was Genesis 22, verse 14. And Abraham called the place, "The Lord will provide," Jehovah Jireh. From that, God allowed me to be inspired to write a song, and Leah and D'Agostà sang it. If you haven't seen that video, then back up and see the previous video. But often we want to know the inspiration, the story behind a song. And so I want to tell you the story behind this song. About 50 years ago, as best I can remember, I was a young pastor and I was in a Bible conference. I heard a great Bible teacher by the name of Manly Beasley, and he was teaching on that very passage from Genesis 22, where he offered Isaac on the altar. But God did not accept Isaac. It was only a picture of Jesus Christ, God's Lamb to come. So God provided a ram instead of Isaac. God provided Jesus instead of you and I. God is Jehovah Jireh. But then he told a story that made an impact in my life. He said many years ago, there was a Christian who had a faith mission. That mission was to feed the hungry. And he would pray and ask God to provide food. He would provide the food, and hungry people would gather outside, come inside, and enjoy a wonderful meal. God had made provision through prayer day after day. But one day the hungry people gathered outside the food kitchen. But on this day he had no food. And he began to plead with God, "Lord, people are waiting to be fed and I have no food to prepare for them. God, please make a provision." And then he looked outside and saw the hungry people waiting. He went back inside and began to pray again, "Lord, please make provision that I might prepare food for the hungry." And then it seemed he had this deep impression from God. Stop asking me to provide for the food and begin to pray and ask that your eyes would be open to see the provision I've already made for you. He didn't fully understand, but he walked outside with that clear thought. As he looked around, he saw his property was surrounded by pecan trees. Pecans were laying all over the ground. And then he saw the provision God had made. He went inside and gathered a bunch of sacks and brought them out, and he asked the hungry people to fill the sacks with pecans. He then took those pecans and sold those valuable pecans and was able to provide enough food for meals for many days to come. Well, when I heard that, I thought that's a great lesson. But that's only half of the story, because after the people were fed, another impression came to his mind. The question seemed to be from God. "When did you see your need?" And he responded, "Well, I saw the need today when I had no food." And then he said, when did you see the provision?" "Well, when you asked me to open my eyes, and I saw the pecans all over the ground." And then the great question was this: when did I plant the pecan trees? And the answer had to be, long before I ever saw my need, you had planted the pecan trees. That story remained with me for many years. And so let me fast forward 20 years. So 20 years later, I was preparing to preach from Genesis 22. And as I prepared, I remembered the story that Manly Beasley told. And from that story, immediately I was inspired to write the song and the words that you heard on the last video. But now we remind you of the closing. I want to encourage you to know this, that long before you saw that you were lost, God had already provided Jesus Christ, death on the cross. And now as a follower of Jesus Christ, he is still Jehovah Jireh, who sees your needs. And you can call on Jesus and pray and ask for his provision. But also ask this, Lord, would you open my eyes to see what you have already provided? So I want to encourage you. Our God is Jehovah Jireh. Trust him. Walk with him by faith. And ask God to continually open your eyes to see what he's already provided. If he's called you and he sent you, he's enabled you, he's provided for you. God bless you today with another great verse.